Imagine waking up one day to find everything you depend on gone. No electricity, no running water, grocery stores emptied in hours. What do you do next? This isn't some distant possibility. It's a reality that many have faced unexpectedly. And the question is, will you be prepared when it happens to you? In today's video, we're uncovering 15 crucial items that every prepper should hoard, including a few lesser-known essentials that most people overlook. You might think you know what you need, but we guarantee a few of these will surprise you. Stick with us until the end to find out the one item that could make all the difference when disaster strikes. Whether it's a natural disaster, an economic collapse, or just ensuring your family's safety, this list is designed to give you the peace of mind you need to face any crisis head-on. If you're serious about staying one step ahead, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on life-saving tips like these. 1. Water storage. Before we talk about anything else, let's start with the most critical resource you'll need in any survival scenario. Water. It's easy to take for granted when it's flowing from the tap, but in a crisis, access to clean water can vanish in an instant. Without water, survival becomes a race against time. Most people can't last more than 3 days without it. And in stressful situations, that window can close even faster. So, how much water should you really store? Experts recommend keeping at least 1 gallon per person per day for at least 2 weeks. This covers not just drinking, but also cooking and basic hygiene. But here's where many people fall short. Storing water properly isn't as simple as filling a few plastic jugs and leaving them in the garage. Those containers can break down, and stagnant water can become unsafe. The key here is stability and long-term storage. Consider investing in food-grade barrels, which can store large amounts of water safely for years. If space is limited, smaller water bricks or stackable containers are ideal for urban environments. But no matter what you choose, ensure the storage area is cool and dark to prevent bacteria growth or plastic degradation. But what happens if you run out of stored water or need to source it from less than ideal places like rivers or ponds? This is where water filtration and purification tools come in. A high-quality gravity-fed filter, like a Berkey system, can turn even the most questionable water sources into drinkable, purified water. Water purification tablets or portable filters like the LifeStraw are lightweight options that can be lifesavers when you're on the move. Water is the foundation of survival, but the key isn't just having enough. It's ensuring it's clean and safe for you and your family. So before you think about stockpiling food or other supplies, make sure your water strategy is solid. 2. Water purification tools. Before we talk about the specific items you need to hoard, let's focus on one of the most critical survival necessities: clean water. You can live without food for weeks, but without water, you'll barely last 3 days. In a disaster, finding drinkable water is often the first challenge. That's why water purification tools should be at the top of every prepper's list. When it comes to purifying water, there are several methods, but having the right tools on hand will ensure you can convert any questionable water source into something drinkable. Portable water filters, like the LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini, are compact, easy to carry, and can purify thousands of gallons of water by removing bacteria, protozoa, and microplastics. These tools can literally be lifesavers when you're on the move or if your primary water source becomes compromised. But don't stop at portable filters. Water purification tablets are another must-have. These tablets are lightweight and can be stored for years. Just one tablet can purify a liter of water, making it safe to drink. They're perfect for emergencies when boiling water isn't an option. For those looking to prep long-term, consider investing in a gravity-fed filtration system like the Berkey. These systems are powerful enough to purify even pond water, filtering out viruses, heavy metals, and chemicals. Having one at home guarantees you and your family access to safe water no matter what happens. And don't forget about boiling water, an ancient but reliable method. However, this requires fuel or a fire source, So having multiple purification options, like filters and tablets, gives you flexibility when resources are limited. Water might seem like the simplest resource, but without proper purification tools, it can quickly become a hazard. You need to be prepared to turn any water, whether from a stream, pond, or rain, into something that keeps you alive and healthy. Before we dive into survival tools or gadgets, let's take a moment to address what might be the most critical part of your survival strategy: food and essential supplies. These are not only necessary for long-term survival, but also for maintaining morale and keeping your body functioning properly when every calorie counts. Item 3. Non-perishable food. When disaster strikes, the first thing to disappear from store shelves is food. Most people make the mistake of grabbing whatever they can, but true preparedness means strategically choosing non-perishable foods that can last years or even decades without refrigeration. Start with the basics: canned goods, dried beans, rice, and pasta. Why? Because they not only have a long shelf life, but also provide the fundamental nutrients your body needs: carbohydrates for energy, proteins for muscle repair, and essential fats for brain function. But don't stop there. A lot of people forget to include variety in their stockpile, which can lead to nutrient deficiencies or food fatigue in long-term scenarios. Stock up on canned fruits, vegetables, and meats. These not only add variety, but also help you maintain a balanced diet. Also, freeze-dried meals are a great option because they retain their nutritional value and can last over 25 years when stored properly. Here's a pro tip: don't overlook honey. It has an indefinite shelf life and provides quick energy while also acting as a natural antibiotic. Salt is another must-have. It's not just for seasoning. It plays a crucial role in preserving food and maintaining electrolyte balance in your body during stressful situations. Item 4. First aid kit. Before we dive into other survival tools, let's discuss something that's often overlooked: first aid supplies. In a disaster, medical help might not be available for days or even weeks. A well-stocked first aid kit can mean the difference between life and death. Every prepper should have a comprehensive kit that goes beyond just bandages. Include antibiotics, pain relievers, gauze, and medical gloves. You'll need to be prepared to treat common injuries like cuts, burns, or fractures. Even minor wounds can lead to infection if not properly cared for. But here's something many preppers forget: specialized medical tools like a tourniquet or hemostatic agents, like QuickClot, for severe bleeding. These can buy you precious time in life-threatening situations. And don't forget prescription medications, especially if you or a loved one relies on them. It's smart to build a small emergency supply, so you're not left scrambling if pharmacies are closed. If possible, learn basic first aid techniques. Knowing how to treat a wound or even perform CPR could be as crucial as the supplies themselves. Item 5. Medicines and prescriptions. Speaking of health, when prepping, don't just stock up on food, consider your medicines and prescriptions. This is one of the most commonly overlooked areas of preparedness. If someone in your household relies on daily medication, running out during a crisis could be catastrophic. Most doctors will allow you to maintain a small emergency supply if you explain the necessity. However, beyond prescriptions, be sure to stock up on over-the-counter medications like pain relievers, antihistamines, and antibiotics. One area often ignored is natural alternatives. For example, garlic and honey have antimicrobial properties, and echinacea or elderberry can boost the immune system. While they don't replace traditional medicine, they can serve as valuable backups when pharmaceuticals run out. Item 6. Tools for cooking without power. Before we move on to security and defense, let's talk about something that's often underestimated in survival scenarios: how to cook your food without power. Stockpiling non-perishables is great, but what happens when your gas and electricity go out? That's where camp stoves and alternative fuel sources come into play. Propane, wood, butane, or even solar-powered stoves can be literal lifesavers when you have no access to traditional cooking methods. But here's the catch: most people forget about backup fuel supplies. Propane tanks can run out, and wood might not always be readily available. Be sure to store extra fuel and consider options like a rocket stove, which can burn almost any small material and is highly efficient. A manual can opener is also essential. What good is a pantry full of canned goods if you can't open them? 7. Multi-tools and knives. First up, we have multi-tools and knives. If you've ever spent time outdoors, you already know how useful a multi-tool can be. Picture this. The power's out, you've got no access to a toolbox, and suddenly you need to cut something, tighten a screw, or strip a wire. A multi-tool can handle all of that in one compact device. Popular brands like Leatherman and Gerber offer models that include pliers, screwdrivers, scissors, knives, bottle openers, and more. What makes a multi-tool essential is its ability to solve small problems on the fly. But you shouldn't just stop at a multi-tool. You also need a reliable fixed blade knife. While a multi-tool is versatile, it's not built for heavy-duty tasks. A fixed blade knife can handle those tough jobs, whether it's splitting wood for a fire, cutting rope, or even for self-defense. When it comes to survival situations, a good knife can literally be a lifesaver. Look for knives that are full tang, meaning the blade extends through the handle, making it more durable under stress. Pro tip: consider carrying a backup knife, such as a folding knife for more casual tasks and a fixed blade knife for the heavy lifting. Remember, when it comes to survival, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. 8. Fire starters. Fire is one of the oldest survival tools known to humanity, and it's still just as essential today. While matches and lighters are the obvious choices for starting fires, relying solely on them can be a mistake. In wet or windy conditions, matches might fail, and lighters run out of fuel. This is where alternative fire-starting tools come in handy. You should invest in ferro rods or magnesium fire starters. These fire-starting tools produce sparks that reach temperatures of over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. They work even when wet, making them ideal for rainy or damp environments. Learning how to use these properly can be a game changer. Also, think about tinder. You can carry natural fire starters like cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly or commercially available tinder that catches fire easily. If you're really thinking ahead, stash away some char cloth or fat wood, both of which ignite quickly and burn long enough to start a proper fire. Pro tip: always have multiple methods of starting a fire in your survival kit. Matches, lighters, ferro rods, and even solar fire starters, which use the sun's rays to ignite, will ensure you never find yourself without a way to get warm, cook, or signal for help. 9. Duct tape. Next up is one of the most underestimated survival tools out there: duct tape. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about duct tape? Well, in survival situations, it's practically magic. Known for its durability and strong adhesive properties, duct tape can solve a wide array of problems. Let's start with the basics. Repairs. If your tent tears in a storm, you can patch it up with duct tape. Got a hole in your backpack? Duct tape can fix that too. You can also use it to reinforce damaged gear, secure food packages, or even seal cracks in windows to protect against cold winds or rain. Beyond repairs, duct tape can also serve medical purposes. In emergencies, you can use it to make a makeshift bandage by combining it with cloth, or create a splint to immobilize an injured limb. It's even been used to make temporary water containers in a pinch. And yes, people have even crafted entire shelters out of duct tape in extreme cases. Pro tip: keep a small roll of duct tape in your bug-out bag. It takes up little space, but will come in handy more times than you can imagine. You can also wrap some around a water bottle or flashlight to save space and always have it within reach. 10. Tarps and ropes. Finally, let's talk about tarps and ropes, two items that might seem simple but are invaluable in any survival situation. First, let's cover tarps. A durable tire can be used in countless ways. Need a quick shelter? String up a tarp between two trees, and you've got a waterproof roof. Tarps can also be used to protect gear from rain, as ground cover to keep you dry, or even to collect rainwater in an emergency. Now, combine a tarp with paracord or sturdy rope, and you've got the makings of a true survival system. Paracord, in particular, is known for its strength and versatility. This lightweight rope can hold up to 550 pounds and can be unraveled into thinner threads for fishing, sewing, or even as emergency sutures. When you're setting up camp, rope helps you secure your tarp, hang food to keep it away from animals, or even tie gear down during transport. But ropes and tarps aren't just for shelter. In urban survival scenarios, they can be used for rescue missions, pulling someone out of danger, or securing entry points in your home if security becomes an issue. Pro tip: keep a 100-foot roll of paracord in your kit. You can use it to build shelter, make traps, or even fashion an emergency tourniquet if needed. Item 11. Hygiene products. It may sound basic, but items like toilet paper, soap, and feminine hygiene products are often the first to run out during any emergency. In a survival situation, staying clean isn't just about comfort, it's about preventing diseases. Contaminated hands or dirty environments can spread infections faster than you think. Stock up on essentials like soap bars, toothpaste, wet wipes, and, yes, plenty of toilet paper. You'll thank yourself when others are scrambling for these supplies. Item 12. Trash bags and cleaning supplies. Before we dive into other tools, let's take a moment to consider trash bags. Seems simple, right? But in a crisis, these are absolute lifesavers. Without proper waste disposal, garbage can pile up quickly, leading to unsanitary conditions and pests. Trash bags are versatile too. They can be used for waterproofing, makeshift shelters, or even as emergency ponchos if the weather turns bad. Add cleaning supplies to that, disinfectants, bleach, and hand sanitizers to keep your living area safe from harmful bacteria or mold outbreaks. Hygiene is more than staying fresh. It's about survival. Item 13. Warm clothes and blankets. Now, before we move on to more obvious survival tools, think about this. If the grid goes down and you're facing a cold winter, nothing will be more valuable than warm clothing and blankets. Hypothermia can set in fast, especially when heating is unavailable. Pack extra socks, thermal underwear, and thick blankets to maintain your body heat. It's easy to take warmth for granted, but in survival situations, staying warm can literally save your life. Item 14. On our list are emergency communication tools. In an emergency, a simple battery-powered or hand-crank radio becomes your lifeline to the outside world. It allows you to tune into critical updates, whether it's weather reports, evacuation orders, or safety announcements. But we're not just talking about radios. Two-way radios, often overlooked, are another crucial tool. With these, you can maintain direct communication with your family or survival group over a short range, even when phones are useless. Some preppers go further, investing in satellite phones, a pricier option, but these devices work anywhere on the planet as long as you have a clear view of the sky. Item 15. Now, before we dive into self-defense, remember that in any crisis, security becomes a top concern. When systems break down, desperation can turn people unpredictable. Item 15. Self-defense tools are vital for protecting yourself and your supplies. Whether it's pepper spray, a firearm, or a simple self-defense knife, having some means of protection is non-negotiable. Many preppers recommend stocking up on items that are both discreet and practical. While firearms are a popular choice, they're not for everyone. Alternatives like batons, stun guns, or even bear spray can be effective in fending off intruders without the complexities of firearms. And don't forget, securing your home is just as important. Simple measures like reinforced doors or window bars can add an extra layer of protection against unwanted visitors, making it harder for anyone to breach your shelter. And there you have it. 15 essential items every prepper should hoard to ensure you and your loved ones are ready for anything, whether it's a natural disaster, a power outage, or even civil unrest. Being prepared gives you the upper hand when things go sideways. If you found this list helpful, make sure to start building your own stockpile today. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on crucial survival advice. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next video.